All right, welcome to our next homework screencast. Like I said in class today, this homework is going to be a good review for what you need to do tomorrow on the quiz. So if you are struggling with any of this, watch the screencast, listen to what I'm saying, replay it, work on your own, work with me, and try to make sure you can figure it out and get it for tomorrow. And if you have any questions before we start the quiz tomorrow, make sure you ask me to go back and take a look at what your questions are or do some problems that you need me to do. Anyways, let me just jump right in here. X is here with the f of x. So when I give you a number there, I'm saying substitute that number in for x. So we're going to substitute -2 in here and here. Now, I have been talking about this situation that we're going to run into here since the beginning of the year. Squaring or cubing a negative or raising anything to a power. Make sure you put the entire number in parentheses with your exponent outside. Now, it actually doesn't matter to the third power, but it really matters with even exponents and when you square something. Okay, so again, all I did was take my -2 and substitute it in where I saw x, and it's better to put it in parentheses all the time just to be safe. And you can do this on your calculator, or I'll do this in my head for you. -2 to the third power is -2 times -2 times -2, which is -8. And -2 times -2 is +4. So f of -2 equals -4. And I just want to make sure I go over what this means. This means the function at -2 equals -4. And we could write that as an x, f of x, or an xy value. And again, input, output, x, y. And then one last x, f of x. Okay. Which of these graphs represents a function? Okay, the only way we're going to represent a function is if you pass the vertical line test, which means you can't have multiple y values for one x value. So right away I can eliminate d. D is not a function because it's made up of vertical lines. So, if you take a look at this right here, all of these points here are y values for the same x value of 1. So therefore it fails the vertical line test. C also fails the vertical line test because check it out right here. When x is 2, y is 1 and 2, and we can't have multiple y values for one x value. Let's check out here. We just need to come up with one failure of the vertical line test, and there it is right there. So it's not C and it's not B, and it is A, because although it looks like here and here and here and here and here, it looks like there's two y values for each x value. There's not, because the one with the open circle isn't part of the function. So it's only the one with the closed circle. So therefore this right here does not fail the vertical line test. So choice A is a function. All right, number 3. A meteorologist drew the accompanying graph to show the changes in relative humidity during a 24-hour period in New York City. So check it out again. X-axis is time. So time, humidity, okay? They're asking for the range. The range is your y values from your lowest y value to your highest y value, your lowest point to your highest point. So, first of all, let's look at our answers and rule some stuff out. Range talks about y values, so I can immediately cross out B and D. I don't want X in my answer, I want Y. And then I'm going to take a look at what's the lowest y value. There's the lowest point, which is at 30. Here's our highest point, which is at 80. So, choice C is our answer. The range is 30 is less than or equal to Y is less than or equal to 80. Number 4, which graph illustrates a quadratic relation whose domain is all real numbers? So first of all, all real numbers, this is a really, we haven't even talked about this yet. I'm sorry. I'm going to get rid of this problem and cross it out and say don't even worry about it. So sorry for everybody that didn't watch the screencast. I'll probably put a note on Classroom that you can skip number 4. All right, sorry about that. Number 5, what is the domain? Okay, good. Now we're switching gears and we're talking about domain, which is x's. So let's peek at our answers. I can automatically cross out B and D because I want x in my answer. And let's take a look. Where is our graph starting? Furthest point to the left. Where is it stopping? Furthest point to the right. We're starting here where x is -1, and we're stopping here where x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer is choice A, -1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 6. Which represents a function? The only one that passes the vertical line test, which is D. Fails it, fails it, fails it. Choice D. You could draw a vertical line anywhere in this graph and would intersect just one place. Which does not represent a function? Choice C. Oops. Choice C fails the vertical line test. All the others pass. 8. The effective pH on the action of a certain enzyme is shown on the accompanying graph. What is the domain? Domain is your x values. So cross out B and cross out D. And our x values have a start at 4 and a stop at 13. So it's 4 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 13. Oh, here's another example. I talked about it earlier, but it didn't really affect us because the exponent was to the 3rd power. But here, we're substituting -2 in for x and squaring it. So this is super important. I hope everybody watches this screencast and catches this because I've said it a million times, yet we still are making this mistake. Please put your number in parentheses so that you remember you're not just squaring 2, you're squaring -2. So we get f of -2 equals 3 minus, and -2 squared is +4. So f of -2 equals -1. Okay, for our next one, we're doing f of -1 is the absolute value of -1 cubed minus 3. So -1 cubed is -1. -1 times -1 times -1 minus 3. And -1 minus 3, is -4. And then the absolute value of -4 is +4. You don't do the absolute value until the end, until there's only one number left in those symbols. Okay, 11. Again, be very careful when substituting negative numbers in when you have exponents. So f of -2 is -2 plus 1 squared. -2 plus 1 is -1, and -1 squared is +1. Number 12, data collected during an experiment are shown in the accompanying graph. It's pH and percent maximum activity of trypsin. I don't know what that means. But we're looking at pH compared to maximum activity of something, percent maximum activity of something. What is the range? We don't really need to know what it means. We just need to know that the range is the lowest point we see to the highest point we see. And it's going to have Y in the inequality. So I'm crossing out B and I'm crossing out D. D. And our low is 0 and our high is 100. So our range is 0 is less than or equal to Y is less than or equal to 100. 13, I blasted you with these negatives and exponents tonight because I really wanted to make sure we finally stop making this mistake. 2 times -4 is -8. And -8 squared is +64. All right, and that is it. So if you have any questions, we can talk about them tomorrow in the beginning of class. Look through your notes and make sure you are prepared for tomorrow's quiz. Have a great night.